Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that the information in this presentation is not to be or construed as investment advice. The information presented are subject to change without notice, and while we have made every reasonable effort to ensure that the content is reliable and accurate, we have not independently verified the content and are not responsible for errors therein. Please consult a professional advisor before putting a loonie in any of these financial markets.
Hi everyone, my name is Richard Diaz and welcome back to the IceCap Canadian Market Wrap. In this week's video, we're going to do a roundup of the latest Canadian inflation print and a very quick update on Canadian oil and gas stocks, which have shrugged off the risk of new Venezuelan oil supply. So what was the headline? In January, the consumer price index rose 2.3% on a year-over-year basis. This is down slightly from the 2.4% we saw in December. Gasoline prices were the largest contributor to the deceleration in headline inflation, with a larger decline in January compared with December. Now, excluding gasoline, the CPI rose to 3.0% in January, and this matched the increase in December. And as you can see, the red and pink lines, ex-energy and ex-gasoline respectively, are continuing to trend higher. The drag from energy is made crystal clear when we break down major CPI components. This is a chart of year-on-year percent change, and as you can see, energy is all the way at the bottom with negative 10.9%. This is a big drag. A look at the breakdown between goods and services inflation, and again, it highlights where the drag on headline is concentrated, and that is goods in blue, while services in red continues to be sticky. Indeed, it's always much stickier. But the fact that services inflation is still so high is interesting given that shelter has collapsed. A look at shelter is critical because it is such a big weight. It's 38% of the core basket. And as you can see in the top panel, shelter used to be the main driver of inflation, but now at 1.7%, it's a material drag on the inflation basket, although it is still growing, just at a slower rate. Why is shelter, this time in blue, falling? Because of the owned accommodation portion, which dominates that series. This means that imputed housing prices and mortgage interest expenses, as well as property taxes, insurance, and maintenance are all growing at a slower rate. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Taxes and other housing costs are way up, but the first two, house prices and interest costs, dictate that series. The fall in shelter is critical because inflation ex-shelter continues to trend higher. And that's what I've shown here with the red line. But the question is, why? The number one reason is food inflation, which has soared to 7.3% in Canada. And this is in part due to the unwind of last year's pre-election GST, HST tax break gimmick, which mostly impacted foods from restaurants. But as you can see clearly, important items like meat have been rising steadily. Beef prices are particularly egregious, and this is in part due to the smallest cattle herds in North America for generations, but it's also a function or a symptom of the growing regulatory burden that these industries face. Make no mistake about it, inflation is a function of, yes, commodity prices and other global trends, but ultimately it's government policy decisions. Mercifully, fruit and veg are falling, but you don't make friends with salad. What's important to note is that these indexes likely understate the inflation rate because of shrinking packaging and substitution effect. Canadians, and especially poorer families, are really feeling the pinch as a larger share of their incomes are allocated to necessities like food. How does Canadian food inflation compare with other countries? Well, it's way higher. Food prices are currently growing at more than twice the rate of the United States, but here I caution you with any cross-country comparison. Canada is still working through the brain-dead pre-election GST tax gimmick, and I've highlighted the base effects with the little circles. We have to let this work through before we can get a real idea of what's going on with food inflation. Finally, the IceCap inflation model. As predicted, core inflation would fall this month and will likely fall again next month, but the trend is for higher prices. And as always, I warn you to take these models with a pinch of salt, but it continues to work, and so we'll continue to trust it and update you each month. Last chart for this week is an update on our view regarding the potential impact of new Venezuelan crude oil supply on the global market and its knock-on effect to the Canadian oil and gas sector. As a reminder, Venezuela produces heavy crude oil, similar but different to the Canadian product, And when Maduro was captured, the Canadian energy sector sold off as this new supply was seen as a potential risk to the Canadian product. But now we have seen that sector absolutely shrug off this risk, and indeed the stocks are nearly up 20% this year, and they've outperformed their global peers. Amazing. All right, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Please like, subscribe, and follow for more. And as always, we manage money for families all across Canada and the world.